So what we want to tell you about is the equipment that we're using here at the school. And being a board designer, I'm really particular on what boards people use, especially when they're being coached. We've got a whole talk about board design and also about the service that we offer. Because we will design boards for you, we will choose boards for you from the internet. I particularly like designing boards for people because I know what they get is going to be absolutely excellent. But I'll tell you a little bit about the boards we use here. If you're like a beginner or you've just surfed a few times, you've just been to a surf school where they use softboards or whatever, we use our own softboard. Now that's a pretty weird thing to say, but this board is designed by myself. They come in 9-foot lengths. This one's 8. We have 8.6, which is a great length for guys around 80 kilos. There are amazing advantages in having your own boards. We have 7-foot softboards, 7.6s, and it's really a subtle softboard. It's got a proper surfboard rail to it. I actually put a roll V through the bottom of it. Thin setups, ideal. So these boards, when we're using them for, say, a beginner's course, we use these for about the first 3 days, and then we progress onto the hard boards. But this is as close to a real surfboard as you get with a soft, safe covering. So I'm designing them, getting them built in Asia. I really recommend them. Richard Dogmarsh, a friend of mine, Pipeline finalist, Bell's finalist. He has surf schools in Australia. He said this was the best surfboard he'd ever seen and he wanted one for his son. So I really like our softboards for our starter lessons. So that's the softboard. Then you'll probably move on to riding either what we call a mini Malibu or a longboard. What's a mini Malibu? Well, it's basically a shorter version of a longboard. If you're one of the guys or girls that need to ride a longboard, often you might go from an 8 but into a nice thin, light longboard. Easy wave catcher, but a really good. I use the Bic range in longboards. I use only the 9 Bics, the 9.4 Nat Young model, and the 10. The 10 is the Bob Pearson for people who like to cruise on a longboard, or they're really big. You know, you're talking about 100 kilos plus, 10 works well for them. But this is a beautiful board. Now, I've been using this design for over 20 years. So I really know it well. It's just an excellent surfboard. Lee Ryan, who was one of the best longboarders in the world, and he worked for me, he said, you can't go far wrong with these boards. They work really, really well. So I'm very happy with people riding that in the longboard range. 10s, 9.4 Nat Young model, and this model called the Bic Classic. I don't use really any of the other Bics, just these. And if not, and you're on a mini Malibu, you use one of these. Now, a very famous shaper called Keone Downing. His dad is George Downing, one of the greatest shapers ever from Hawaii. He designed a whole range of these. We have them in 7.11, 7.7, 7.3, and we've even got small ones here, kind of different design. I'll show you that in a minute. But these are absolutely awesome. Very fast, great paddlers, but with a beautiful rail. I don't like the word mini-mal too much. I like the word mid-range, but this is a high-performance mid-range board. Set up as a thruster, just an excellent surfboard. We have a whole stock of these. Now, if you're going to ride a shortboard, some people are riding kind of a shortboard, which is high volume. So if it's a high volume board, we give you one of these. We've got these 6.6s, this is 6.3. A lot of volume, wide tail, turns easy, but a good paddler as well. I think that's really important. When you're first going to your shortboards, you need something that picks up your waves easily and will turn for you. And then if you're an experienced surfer, we've got a number of Al Merrick, the great shaper Al Merrick. We've got a number of his flyers. We also use a couple of twin fin type boards as well from Kim Thompson. But you know, Americ's America, you can't go far wrong with them. So that covers people who are surfing. Now people bring their own boards too. But often I say, listen, we've probably got a board that's similar to yours, if not better. So maybe you don't need to bring your own board. If you got your own board and you say, oh, that's awesome. You contact us, we go, this board's great, bring it, do it, bring it, you know. But we've always got the right board here for you. A huge range. If you're a beginner, we'll start you on softboards, we'll end you, we hope, on hardboards. And if you're surfing already, you've got your own board, we will have the equipment that will advance your surfing. During your course, you'll be teaching you about the board you ride, and that's super important for your future surfing.